You are listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call Podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your host with the jokes, and with me, as always, is my partner,
Rocco.
See, and Rocco don't have jokes, and that is why I must make you all suffer.
I have a brilliant idea, though.
You have a brilliant idea?
Yeah, I was just thinking, we're getting into the holiday season here. I think maybe the little moo cow should have a little jingle at the end or something.
I think, you know what, we are. I think on the next couple, we'll do that. And you know what, maybe we'll get the marketing. We'll get Anna to go in here and add a little jingle bell sound on the end of it. I like it. It's a good idea. I like that idea. But it still won't distract you from the engineering joke of the week. You have to suffer through it, Rocco. All right, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right. Why do electrical engineers take naps at lunch?
Why?
Because it helps them recharge for the afternoon. There you go. That one's just awful. That one's not even funny. That's just, oh my God, what were you thinking? Okay, so what are you getting into today? Oh, I know what I want to talk about. So today, folks, I want to get into the topic of tech support. And I don't mean, calling your IT guys to fix your broken keyboard here. What I want to get into today is the concept of just-in-time tech support, or the idea of getting your people help with their software and their workflow issues at the exact moment they need it. Now, that may sound like a simple concept, but implementing it is one of the most difficult tasks in the modern design build world. When there are so many design software systems and integrated project management and financial ERPs and a million other advanced technology solutions, right, that we are all dealing with on a daily basis, getting someone who can help you address a specific problem at a specific point in time, right, particularly if you're facing a critical deadline, it can seem impossible. And even going beyond the different software concern, right? What about your workflow concerns, right? What do you do when you're trying to, model a road grading scheme and you're not sure how to do that? Or if you're, doing a concrete estimate and you're not sure how to account for, extra labor for your hand grade. Each job that we all do, we have specific workflow processes, right, and needs, and finding someone to help us who understands both that workflow process and the technology and software we're using to meet those processes is not a small task. So, Rocco, let me ask you, right? Do you find that a lot of our clients that you meet with are they calling us because they're looking for that kind of tech support, or does tech support really become more of an afterthought on one of our regular, consulting jobs?
No, it is more of an afterthought. I mean, a lot of people come to us because they're struggling with workflow, related issues, whether it be on the construction or the CAD end, and they're just looking for help. It's not so much, your traditional tech support kind of structure that you would think of.
Yeah, so and it's kind of, on my end of things, I kind of see the same thing, right? I usually kind of have to explain to people this concept of, just-in-time tech support. Everybody seems to, to be used to the concept of trying to deal with these, technical and workflow issues in-house. And they refer to technical specialists, only when there's some type of a crash or a system issue. When it comes to kind of handling design or workflow related technical problems, there's this entrenched belief, I guess, that people will, you just need to figure it out. You got to figure it out on your own. Or maybe, right? Maybe you're lucky and you have that one person in your firm who just seems to know every aspect of your software system, and everybody just turns to them for help. And the problem there, of course, is, what happens, when that person is out of the office, or God forbid, right, they move to another company. You're kind of stranded. And look, even if you're lucky and that's not a big concern for you, right, that person's going to be there forever. What about just the base productivity impact that you're taking in that scenario? Okay, that's amazing, right? Your in-house tech, we'll call him your tech guru, is almost always your most productive person. And if they are being constantly bombarded by, other people's issues, right? Folks who aren't quite as skilled as they are, then you're losing money, right? And not only that, but now you've actually tied two people up into trying to solve one person's issue. And maybe you're thinking like, it's a few minutes here and there. It's not a big deal. That's absolutely not the case. According to a number of recently published government surveys here in the U.S., 67% of workers who are considered, quote unquote, technically skilled, they say that they are devoting at least 50%, half of their time every day assisting other workers with technical issues. All right, that means that you are paying your best people to spend half of every single day doing nothing but supporting other people. And that is a heck of a lot of money to waste, So Rocco, how many of your initial sales calls with people, right, involve a concern over their inability to support their users from the tech end?
Calls are all over the place, right? As
kind of like your answer.
Yeah, I mean, well, the staff, the technical staff varies, but we're in an industry where we're short-staffed, right? So there's a need for people who have technical experience. And to your point, it's like if you're bogging down, those who are technically savvy, a lot of times they can be the most productive people on your staff. So you're just slowing down work.
Yep.
So it's a catch-22, and it's a big challenge in our industry today.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. I mean, the problem, is really, people just don't know where else to turn, right? It's not an easy thing to find people who understand both, your industry and your technology. Like I said, if you're lucky enough to have a few good people on your staff who can do both, it seems like the natural answer, right? Even with that loss of revenue, right? You just want to get them involved in fixing problems to keep things moving. And there is another alternative available though, and it's the idea of working with a consulting partner that you can call on whenever you hit those tech issues. And I get it. I know, who'd have thought, right? The guy who owns a technical consulting firm is going to tell you to call a technical consultant. Shocking. But look, I'm not telling you that you guys should, call Zentech, though you absolutely should. But I'm saying what you want to do is engage with someone who's an expert in both your industry and your software. All right, having one or the other isn't really going to suffice here. You need to have both of those at your fingertips, and that really just means a technical consultant in your specific field, right? Whatever it may happen to be. Look, I'll say it like this, right? We aren't telling you to call a tech consultant because that's what Rocco and I do. The truth is, we became tech consultants because helping folks in the design, build, tech space is what we love. Right? And that's what you want to look for, right? Someone you can trust to understand your needs, who loves solving problems, but it can't just be someone in your company because those people all need to be billable, right? Where a consultant just doesn't. We come in, we solve the problem, and then we go away until the next time you need us, and nobody else in your company is losing productivity, right? It's the perfect solution for this kind of tricky support question. All right, so I tell you what, let's get a quick break in here for today's podcast sponsor, and when we get back, I want to talk about the ways that we found to help folks on the support side here at Zentech. All right, so stand by, folks. We'll be back in a minute with more of the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. Today's episode of the Cattle Call Podcast is brought to you by Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. We're bringing ourselves to you. Aren't we nice? So we wanted to talk to you guys today about some of the things that we offer at Zentech Consultants. In particular, we wanted to talk to you today about our offerings around developing and upgrading your CAD standards. We are here to help you guys with all of your CAD standard needs, from ongoing drafting and design support to block and library development, full CAD standards development, right? CAD version upgrades, really whatever it is that you guys need when it comes to developing, implementing, and tweaking your current CAD standards. Or like I said, if you don't have any yet, we can help you build them from scratch. So Rocco, why don't you tell all the good folks how they can reach out to us and start that conversation?
Yeah, there's a lot of information, people, on our website, zentechconsultants.net. That's ZENTEK consultants.net. Or you can give us a call, 866-824-4459, or even drop us an email, sales@zentechconsultants.net.
Ooh, nice. CAD standards from Zentech Consultants. You're listening to the Cattle Call Podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cattle Call Podcast. We're talking about tech support for both your procedural and your software needs in the design and build world. And in particular, I wanted to get into kind of the good and the bad processes that we've seen for working with support consultants over the years, and kind of the how and why of what we offer for our clients here at Zentech. Which that'll also make Rocco actually talk some sales stuff and now feel like he's earning his pay for once. So we want to get him into that. So kind of the first thing that I want to get into is the idea of dealing with your software vendor for support. And I don't think it's going to surprise anybody to say that this is a really bad idea. Look, software resellers, they are okay if what you have is actually a software problem, right? If it's a bug or a tool or a process that keeps crashing or locking up, yes, they're the guys to call, because you're actually already paying for that support as part of your software, right? So if things crash, yep, call them. Otherwise, if you're dealing with, process or procedure issues, right? How do I do this? Or why isn't this working? What's the best way to handle this type of design? These are the very last people that you want to get involved with. And I won't go down this too far, right? Because we've talked about this a bunch of times on the show before. Software techs are generally low-paid, entry-level people who only know what they've trained on with that specific software package, right? And their answer, right, 9 out of 10 times is either, go watch an online video, or, you should buy a new software upgrade to fix that. Neither of which is going to help you with the problem you're having here and now. I'll be honest, it actually kills me that they give you the, go watch a video answer. I mean, if I can just watch a video, why the heck am I calling you? I can just use Google and not pay you for any support. It kills me. So, I mean, Rocco, you've worked for years in the design build software space, right? Has there ever been an instance where that was an answer that a client wanted or that they were happy with?
I mean, not that they reach out to me for it, that's not to say that you can't find answers online, but again, if you want assistance with workflow, you're stuck in the middle of an issue. Good luck trying to find it in a video. I mean, it's you're sifting through an ocean of content. There's no easy, quick answer for it. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And I agree. Hey, look, Google is everybody's friend, right? We all love Google. We all go there first. But yeah, when you got a problem, you probably already Googled it and tried it, and it's just not happening, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about. So look, I said, the right answer here is a tech consultant, right? But how do you engage with one of those, right? And I've seen a couple of different models for this. And the first one is on-demand calls, right? In other words, right, when a problem arises, you're going to bring in the consultant as needed, right? You call them when you need them. And it sounds good, but the issue that we've seen with this is you got to go through now a process of getting, approvals, and you got to get the quote from the consultant, and then somebody in accounting has to authorize payment, and then you have to schedule time, right? It can take hours, sometimes even days, to get someone in your office to approve the hire of the consultant and cut a PO or get a credit card and then schedule time. It works, it does, but it does kind of disrupt that just in time concept of consulting, right? And I think, at that point, what happens is that folks are just as likely to just say, I'm in a hurry, I can't wait, I can't go through all of that. They're just going to default back to, bugging other staff members, right? Just to save themselves some time and aggravation. Another method that we've seen and is, you can be part of one of the online tech support forums or a discussion board kind of thing for a set fee. And most of those do have some moderators or an employee who kind of monitors the questions, right? When they can, kind of in between their own clients. And they also host a lot of videos and white papers and articles and knowledge bases and so on to help you find the answers that you need. But to my mind, it's just another way, right, to that, like what we were talking about earlier, that Google support issue. I mean, yeah, it's all assembled into one neat area, which is nice. But like Rocco was saying, you're still going to have to spend hours finding the answer that you want, even if it's available. And I think where these knowledge store systems kind of fail is really you get into the answering of an unusual question or a specific procedural concern. They're good for things like software bugs and workarounds and things that are going to happen to everybody. But they're pretty terrible when it comes to answering, specific process questions or anything that's, just related only to the job you're currently working on. So Rocky, let's be fair about this and beat ourselves up a little bit, right? We ran one of these support forums for our civil and site clients here at Zentech a few years back. How'd that work out for us?
Not so well.
Yeah, not so well at all.
No, I think it's it's for a lot of reasons too. I mean, from our end, we're not used to giving canned answers, right? I mean, everything we do is again, you're hands on with people trying to resolve workflow related issues. It's not, you can't give a simple one line answer and here you go, right? I mean, we're about digging in and show us what's going on and making recommendations for improving workflows and best practices. It's more complex than that.
Yeah, no, that did not go well for us all. I put in a lot of time on that thing, and people were not happy with the results. So look, I guess as you guys listening can tell by this point, right? Rocco and I have had to put a lot of thought into ways of supporting clients, quickly and effectively and at a reasonable cost while still giving them, expert tech advice. And thankfully we are tech experts and all the new modern technology tools out there, combined with a bit of ingenuity and being smart enough to hire people with years of real world experience in their trades, kind of gave us a solution that we're really proud of here. We call it our Tech Block service. And the idea is actually really simple, but it's been crazy effective for us. Basically what it is, you buy a prepaid block of technical support time, right? Hence the Tech Block name. We're not that creative. And anybody in your organization can immediately call any of our support staff and schedule screen sharing support to work on whatever issue they like, right? In real time. And in most cases, right, people reach out and we're actively working with them to resolve problems inside of an hour, right? And we can also handle, offline research or, making best practice recommendations if we don't already know the answer, right? Or, we can sit with your guys and do multi-hour work throughs, right on your billable job. I don't care if you're, passing my time off to the client. That's fine. All Zentech does is we deduct whatever time we work together from your tech block, and then we just send you a summary, right? In other words, they say, hey, you have 40 hours on account with us. We just worked together for 5 hours to fix a major problem. Well, now you have 35 hours of time remaining. It's that easy. It's as simple as we can make it. And what I think is best of all here, since everything is paid in advance, there is no need ever for your people to have to get POs or approvals or quotes and so on, right? That delays things. You're just going to, shoot us an email or call us and we're here and ready to help. And I think if you combine that effectiveness with, our client, our staff rather, who are all technology folks who have worked for years in your specific field, right? And they're experts at the software systems that you guys have and use. And that's going to provide you the help without disrupting your workflow that you've always wanted. Oh, and you know what? Just in case anybody is wondering, the Tech Block hours never expire. So it's not like you have to use them or lose them. Rocco and I will not take your money for work we didn't perform. Rocco, he's very particular. He only takes my money for work he doesn't perform. Thanks, Rocco.
You don't need it.
I don't need it. Yeah. Rocco needs his 5th yacht. So, all right, so I tell you what, Rocco, since you're taking all my money, why don't you tell these folks the details around Tech Blocks and how many of our clients kind of, use up their contract, their Tech Block, and then renew?
Yeah, not a ton more to add to what you said there, Jim. Tech Blocks work great, particularly for customers that are just engaging with us. We don't have history with one another, and they see the value, but they want to jump in, but they just want to start in the shallow end, right? So that they'll purchase a set number of hours and then see that all is going well and renew. And the renewal rate is very, very high. Thank you to all of our customers who come back to us. They see the value in it. So like you described, you prepay, and there are terms and conditions that we provide as part of the sale, and but it works out well, and that's not much more I can say unless you can think of something else to add there.
Yeah, unless you just want to throw in, we do have kind of some standard hour lengths that we normally use.
Yeah, well, it's 5, 10, 20, 40, 80, or 100 hours, or how we're generally structured to sell those. And like Jim said, they don't expire. So from year to year, if you only use 5 in a year and you purchase 20, you still got 15 hours left. So, and we don't pressure you to use them. We're here for you when you need us.
There you go. All right. So there you go, folks. A simple solution, right, to a problem that we've all struggled with since the advent of computers and CAD, I guess, into our industry. And look, I know it's a bit of sales stuff here at the end of the podcast, which we usually do try to avoid, but honestly, I really don't know of anyone else who is, or even who can, do what we're doing with Tech Blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a happy coincidence instead of a sales pitch. And with that clever cover phrase, we're going to get out of here, folks, and we'll catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody, today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from y'all.